What is going on, guys? And today we have the full review for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view 2014. What a pay-per-view it was leading up to WrestleMania. Oh my goodness. We're going to go through each match one by one, explain to you what happened, and then I'll give you guys my little review of the matchup. So in the kickoff pre-show match, it was Ryback Axel with Larry the Axe Hennig, the grandfather of Curtis Axel, taking on Cody Rhodes and Goldust, the Brotherhood. This was available on WWE.com, YouTube channel, whatever you want to, if you want to see the replay of this one. Goldust shoulder tackled Axel and hip tossed him. Then Axel hit Cody in the corner and chops him. Cody chops him back and sweeps his leg. Then he clotheslines him outside before Ryback runs in. Cody sends him outside and dives on him. Then Goldust also dives outside as we cut to a break. We then get back to see Ryback stomping Goldust in the corner, and then Axel slingshots himself over the rope and elbows Goldust on the apron. Axel drop kicks him and Ryback hits him a few times. Then Goldust comes back with the Hurricane Rana off the turnbuckles before backdropping Ryback outside. Cody gets the hot tag and kicks Axel in the face, following with the moonsault for 2 before hitting an Alabama slam. Ryback pulls him outside. Cody hits a disaster kick off the steps, then goes for a springboard drop kick, but Axel knocks him down and gets a near fall. Cody and Axel counter each other's finisher attempts, then Ryback runs in but hits the floor, and Goldust slams him into the barricade as Cody hits the Crossroads for the win. So your winner is Cody Rhodes and Goldust, the Brotherhood. I thought it was a pretty good pre-show match, much more than I was expecting from that match. I don't know. But we're now going to the main card of the show. The opening contest was for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Jack Swagger versus the champion, Big E. I gotta tell you what a match this was. Big E started off by suplexing Swagger and followed with the second one. Then he tackles him in the corner and whips him across the ring before they end up outside. Big E slams him into the barricade, but Swagger throws him to the ground. Then he clotheslines E and rolls him inside before kneeing him in the corner. Swagger leg drops E's neck and gets a near fall. Then he applies a front face lock, but he throws him across the ring. Swagger goes for a quick roll-up, then he kicks Big E on the mat and goes for a Swagger bomb, but Big E catches him and sets up a big ending. Swagger grabs the rope before he's able to hit it, lands on the apron, but Big E spears him off the apron and gets a near fall before splashing him for another 2 count. Swagger gets him in a Patriot lock, but Big E kicks him back, then Swagger kicks his knee and sets up for a gut-wrench slam. Big E blocks it and tackles Swagger, then he calls for a big ending, but Swagger counters with the Patriot lock, only to have Big E connect with an enziguri and a big ending for the win. So still your Intercontinental Champion is Big E, or as formerly known, Big E Langston. I was looking forward to Jack Swagger winning the Intercontinental Championship to set up for Swagger versus Cesaro, the breakup of the Real Americans at WrestleMania 30, because I would have been really into that match. But one thing I was really disappointed is that Swagger was not focusing heavily on the ankle throughout the match as he usually does to set up for his Patriot lock. Oh, that was disappointing, but overall, Big E won the title. After the match, Bad News Barrett came out and cut the victory celebration short for Big E and says that Russia is winning more Olympic medals than the United States, and they'll have to wait 4 more years to be disappointed again. And then there's a backstage segment, Daniel Bryan telling the new member of the announce team, Byron Saxton, that he goes all in no matter what, and he can't answer if he's definitely winning, but he can say yes, he will fight and claw to get to WrestleMania. We then had a match for the WWE Tag Team Champions of the World. It is the 6-time Tag Team Champions, the New Age Outlaws, taking on Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. Billy started jabbing Jimmy a few times and whips him, then Jimmy drop toe holds him and follows with some arm drags and a jawbreaker. Billy avoids a super kick and rolls outside, then Road Dogg sidesteps one, so both Usos feign suicide dives before playing to the crowd. Road Dogg finally re-enters the ring as Jay gets in, then he kicks Jay, but Jay headbutts him and whips him before kicking him in the face. Jay charges the corner, but Road Dogg hip tosses him right into the turnbuckles, then he throws Jay outside and Billy clotheslines him on the floor. Billy's able to roll Jay back inside the ring, gets a near fall, then Road Dogg kicks him in the back before Jay comes back with an enziguri. Both men tag their partners in and Jimmy tackles Road Dogg on the apron, then he chops Billy a few times and hits a full Nelson bomb off the ropes. He throws Road Dogg back outside and dumps Billy on his head, then he charges the corner, but Road Dogg pulls him outside. Jimmy splashes Road Dogg, but Billy immediately clotheslines him, then Jimmy surprises Billy with the super kick and heads up top. Billy ducks, but Jimmy lands on his feet. Then he kicks Road Dogg off the apron, but Billy rolls him up from behind to retain. So still your tag team champions of the world, the Road Dogg Jesse James, the badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. Definitely a surprise match for me. I was in no way expecting the ending of that match. I was completely shocked. It was, I don't even know. I was honestly expecting a lot more from this matchup when I didn't get it. I'm sure that we will see a rematch of this, something to do with the tag team titles and the New Age Outlaws and the Usos coming up to WrestleMania, because they definitely need to have another match. But I think you should make it something like WrestleMania 28, maybe with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Elimination match. That would definitely be an interesting match to have at WrestleMania, whether it be on the kickoff show, or is formerly known as the pre-show, or not. Definitely interesting. The next match we're going to get right into here was Titus O'Neil versus Darren Young. Titus O'Neil rocking that brand new theme song. I love it. I love the new Titus O'Neil, formerly the Primetime Players, until Titus O'Neil turns on Darren Young after Darren Young loses a match. What a match, but we'll get into the review right after we go through what happened throughout the match. But Darren Young applied a headlock, but Titus threw him and clotheslined him. Then Titus backs up and tries to kick him, but Young clotheslines him over the ropes. Young rolls him in and hits the top rope clothesline for 2, then he whips him, but Titus reverses it and sends Young over the ring post and outside. Titus slams him into the ring post, rolls him in for a near fall, then he applies a bear hug and follows with a backbreaker. Titus applies an abdominal stretch and throws some kidney punches, then Young breaks it with some punches, but Titus clotheslines him in the corner. Young kicks him in the face and throws an uppercut, then he connects with a knee lift and clothesline off the ropes. Young backdrops him and connects with some mounted punches, then Titus rolls to the apron, but Young hits a neckbreaker for 2. Young lifts him up for gut check, but Titus floats over and connects with the Clash of the Titus for the win. Oh my goodness, I knew Titus O'Neil was going to win coming into the match. Definitely, he has shown himself as the powerhouse of the Primetime Players and blames all of his losses in the past on Darren Young. From the past 2 years, ever since they debuted on the main roster of WWE, it's been all Darren's fault, according to Titus. The one thing that I thought was funny that was going around on Twitter was that when Titus did Clash of the Titus, his finishing maneuver to end the match, he didn't realize that you could turn that move straight into a pinfall. He had to get up and then cover him, which I don't know if that was to make it look like he was just knocked out, or if it was supposed to be like, oh, I just don't want to do the roll-up part because then it makes me look weak. But I'm pretty sure that it probably was to make him look a little more powerful. Let me know what you guys think on that. Bad News Barrett comes out once again. I know a lot of UK fans were just marking out at the amount of time Bad News Barrett came out here. He's out once again, and he mocks the Minnesota football teams and electricians before addressing Hulk Hogan's return. He says Hulk's once red-hot spotlight is dim compared to his own skills. Then he thanks them and bangs his gavel down. So we've seen Bad News Barrett, formerly known as Wade Barrett, quite a bit throughout the show. And you know what, I really gotta say, I like Bad News Barrett, but I wish he would still compete in in-ring competition. Definitely something I'm gonna be missing. Hopefully we'll be able to see him compete in some type of thing at WrestleMania 30. But yes, he did confirm the return of Hulk Hogan for the host of WrestleMania, which has been all around everywhere. Apparently WWE is mad that TMZ pre-leaked it, which is why they just had to go out and say it, because I think they were planning on it being a surprise. The next match was the show stealer, the highlight of the show for me, something that should be in the runnings for match of the year, and we're only in February. The Shield versus the Wyatt family. The biggest battle of the year, in my opinion. We have after both teams make their way to the ring, there's a brief face-off before Ambrose charges at the Wyatts, and then a few punches are thrown before the Wyatts roll outside and regroup. The ref finally rings the bell, and Reigns and Bray stare each other down. Then Bray uppercuts Reigns, but Reigns comes back with a shoulder tackle and a front facelock. Bray breaks it up with a punch, then Harper applies a front facelock and goes for a suplex, but Reigns reverses it. Ambrose gets the tag and throws a few jabs, and he slams Harper in the corner, and Rollins splashes him before Reigns hits a clothesline. Ambrose drop kicks him before Rollins comes right back with some headbutts, then Ambrose goes after Harper, but Rowan distracts him on the apron. Ambrose runs at him, but Harper takes him down with the drop kick, then Bray splashes him in the corner before Rowan connects with a sidewalk slam. Ambrose finally makes a comeback with a neckbreaker, then Rollins repeatedly punches Harper in the corner and hits a flying forearm before heading up top. Rowan tries to distract him, but Rollins kicks him, then Harper goes for a suplex, but Rollins lands on his feet and clotheslines him outside. Rollins dives on him and connects with a springboard knee strike, then he hits the ropes and sets up another running knee. Harper sidesteps it and hits a side slam, then Rowan hits 2 scoop slams before connecting with a kidney shot for a near fall. Bray yells for the tag and goes for a clothesline, but Rollins kicks him in the head and leaps off the turnbuckles. Bray catches him and hits a standing side slam, getting a 2 count, but Ambrose breaks it up so Harper kicks him in the face. He taunts Reigns before stomping Rollins near the ropes, then Rollins comes back with a quick enziguri before Reigns makes the tag in. Reigns knocks Bray off the apron and hits Rowan with a huge Samoan drop, then he pummels him on the mat before drop kicking him on the apron. He hits a side slam, but Bray breaks up the pin. Ambrose and Harper get back into it before Harper hits a suicide dive and Rollins follows with a somersault senton. Reigns gets a near fall on Rowan as Rollins starts taking the Spanish announce table apart, but Bray hits him from behind and tries to drive him through it. Ambrose clotheslines Bray into the crowd and battles him in the stands, then Rowan and Reigns trade some punches before Rowan drives Reigns' shoulder into the ring post. He hits the ropes, but Reigns connects with a diving clothesline for another 2 count, then Rollins hits Harper with a monitor as Bray runs back in. Bray knocks Rollins down as Rowan drops Reigns with a follow-away slam, then Harper and Rowan lift Rollins up and chokeslam him through the table. The Wyatts surround Reigns in the ring and beat him down in the corner, then Bray sets up for Sister Abigail. Reigns breaks it and absorbs some headbutts before hitting a Samoan drop on Bray. Harper gets thrown outside before Reigns knocks Rollins down, then he hits Bray with a Superman punch, a move I absolutely love, before setting up for the spear. Harper runs in so Reigns hits him instead, but Bray tackles him and hits Sister Abigail for the win. So your winners, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family. Match of the year. Definitely, I gotta say. This, in my opinion, is leading up to the breakup of the Shield, which I want to see a triple threat match of some type or something involving them going up to WrestleMania 30. Definitely something I really, really want to see. I don't know. I just can't express that enough. The one thing I did note was that Ricardo Rodriguez, who joined the Spanish announce team on the Spanish table, he said earlier today that I will watch and protect the Spanish announce table because, the only announce table usually broken is the Spanish one. But it was broken because Rowan lifted Rollins up and chokeslammed him through the table. The next match was something that was not planned for the card, but it was pretty much predictable. It was for the Divas Championship. Cameron, one half of the Funkadactyls, as Naomi is currently out with an injury, taking on the current longest reigning Divas champion, AJ Lee, who of course had Tamina Snuka in her corner. AJ starts off by coming out making her entrance, and she makes a note of Naomi's eye injury and says that this match is due to a lack of competition, so they should just get it over with. Cameron gets pissed and throws her pom-pom at AJ, then she hits a leg drop before AJ punches her a few times and applies a front facelock. AJ throws her in the corner and taunts her, then Cameron tries to steal it with a roll-up before hitting a drop kick for a near fall. Cameron tries to pick her up, but AJ throws her on the floor, picking up Cameron's pom-poms and mocking her before throwing them in the ring. Cameron pulls her off the apron, so Tamina goes for a super kick, but Cameron sidesteps it, and Tamina kicks AJ instead. I think they're going to be trying to break up AJ and Tamina here, maybe for a Divas Championship match at WrestleMania. Definitely exciting. Cameron goes for a cover, but Tamina breaks it up. Then the referee is threatening a disqualification here, orders her back to the corner, but she stays and argues with them. Cameron goes outside and screams at her, so Tamina clotheslines Cameron, causing the disqualification. Then she kicks her again before handing AJ her title and leaving with her. So technically Cameron won via disqualification, but still the Divas champion is AJ Lee. Bad News Barrett comes out, makes yet another appearance, and says that the Minnesota Dummies broke his podium, but he's got more time for bad news. He says the WWE Network is live at 9 a.m. tomorrow, but they'll be so mesmerized by all the content that they'll stop going to work. Barrett says the kids will fail out of school and they will all stop taking the trash out, and the government will condemn all of their homes. I cannot get... Bad News Barrett. Oh my goodness. What a crack up. Then it was Bautista, as he is commonly known right now by the fans, versus Alberto Del Rio. Oh my goodness. Alberto comes out in a neck brace as we saw him on Monday Night Raw, and some crutches, and says he can't compete tonight because he is too injured from Batista's previous attacks, as we all know. Alberto surprises him with a crutch shot, then he hits him a few times and tears off his warm-up pants, revealing it was all a ruse. He calls for so Alberto's crutches and neck brace was fake. Del Rio, where was I? So Del Rio throws him into the ring post, applies a cross arm breaker on the ropes. Del Rio stomps him a few times and knocks Batista back down, then he tackles him in the corner and connects with a step-up enziguri for 2. Batista comes back with a spear and a clothesline, then he goes for a scoop slam, but Del Rio hits a backstabber for 2. Batista goes for a Batista bomb, but Del Rio floats over and super kicks him for 2. Then he goes for a cross arm breaker, but Batista knocks him into the turnbuckles and hits a Batista bomb for the win. Mediocre match here, just, getting Batista pumped up for WrestleMania 30, kind of building him some momentum. And as people say, his tights just keep getting shorter. Oh, goodness. The next match was the main event. Something I've been looking forward to for a long, long time. It was the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Elimination Chamber match. What this pay-per-view is all about. You had Cesaro, one half of the Real Americans, going up against the one more match returning Christian, taking on the Celtic Warrior Sheamus, taking on the leader of the Yes Movement, Daniel Bryan, going against Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, the former World Heavyweight Champion, John Cena, and then the Viper, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Randy Orton. All 6 men made their entrance, and with the first 2 in the match were Cesaro and Sheamus. Cesaro hits Sheamus with a quick dropkick and throws him towards the cage, but Sheamus blocks it and uppercuts him into the corner. Cesaro uppercuts him back and backdrops him onto the chamber floor, then he hits the ropes, but Sheamus comes back with a battering ram for 2. Sheamus clotheslines him and clubs his chest, then he hits another clothesline before trying to suplex Cesaro back in. Cesaro counters and throws Sheamus into the ring post, then he double stomps Sheamus from the middle ropes and taunts Orton in his pod. Cesaro throws a few uppercuts and mocks Cena, then Sheamus fires up and kicks him, but Cesaro drops him with an uppercut. Sheamus tries to go up top, but Cesaro connects with a rolling uppercut, then Daniel Bryan is buzzed in and he drops both opponents with a missile dropkick. Bryan repeatedly kicks Sheamus in the corner and leapfrogs him, then he drop kicks him off the ropes and repeatedly kicks both Cesaro and Sheamus in the chest. Bryan kicks Cesaro in the head and tries to put Sheamus in a surfboard, then Cesaro tries to clothesline him, but Bryan ducks and gets a near fall. Cesaro comes back with a backbreaker for 2, then Bryan ends up on the apron and tries to whip Cesaro into the wall. Cesaro reverses it and sends him through one of the open pods, and Cesaro trades blows with Sheamus on the chamber floor. Sheamus hits a rolling fireman's carry on the floor, then he heads up top as Christian is the next man to enter. I think this is number 4, and number 3 was Daniel Bryan. Christian shoves him off the turnbuckles and throws Bryan into the cage wall, then he hits him a few times before Sheamus attacks him on the chamber floor. Christian avoids a power slam by Sheamus, but Cesaro throws him into the chamber wall before powerbombing him into one of the pods. He immediately follows with an uppercut for 2, then Cena's buzzed in and he whips Christian into Sheamus before Bryan takes him down with the top rope Hurricane Rana. Bryan repeatedly kicks him in the chest and Christian hits a kill switch, then Christian gets launched into the turnbuckles before Cena goes for a 5-knuckle shuffle. And once again, Cena is number 5, so the only person left is Randy Orton. Sheamus stops it and hits a white noise for 2, then Cesaro uppercuts him a few times before Sheamus responds with some body shots. Cesaro goes for a neutralizer, but Sheamus backdrops him, then Christian throws him on the floor, hits Cesaro with a tornado DDT for a 2 count. Christian sets up a kill switch, but Cena backdrops him into the chamber wall, then he goes after Cesaro and gets caught with a very European uppercut for 2. Gotta love the uppercuts of Cesaro. Cena comes back with an attitude adjustment attempt, but Bryan kicks him in the chest. Then Sheamus goes for a pin on Cesaro as Orton comes in as the 6th member. Cesaro kicks out as Orton starts stomping everyone, then he tries to punt kick Bryan but comes up short. Everyone surrounds him, so Orton locks himself back in his pod, mocking Sheamus from inside, but Sheamus bro kicks the pod open and Cena follows with a 5-knuckle shuffle attempt. Cesaro throws Cena outside and gets Orton in the giant swing, then Bryan connects with a rolling German suplex before Sheamus knocks him down and bro kicks Cena in the corner. Christian tries to steal the roll-up, so Sheamus goes after him, throwing him into the cage before setting up an iron cross on the chamber floor. Christian breaks free and scales one of the pods, then Orton superplexes Sheamus, and Christian falls with a frog splash off the pod for the first elimination of Sheamus, which is something that shocked me completely. I was expecting Christian to either not be in the match or to be the first one eliminated. Christian avoids a Hangman's DDT and backdrops him outside, but Bryan connects with a running knee and makes the cover for the second elimination of Christian, so there we go, Christian and Sheamus are both eliminated. Bryan sends Orton to the floor, Cena slams Cesaro into the cage wall, then Bryan and Cena face off before slugging it out in the middle of the ring. Bryan goes for a yes lock, but Cena counters with an AA attempt, but Cesaro runs in and slams them both down before sending Orton outside. Cesaro goes for a gut wrench, but Cena blocks it, setting up another AA, but Cesaro grabs the rope, so Cena throws him onto the cage floor. He pulls him back in and makes Cesaro tap to the STF, then he puts Orton in the STF, but the lights cut out and the Wyatt family make an appearance. They take out Cena before Bryan tries to run them off, but he gets kicked in the face and Rowan clotheslines Cena in the corner. Bray follows with Sister Abigail on Cena, then they leave the chamber, so Orton sneaks in and makes the cover on Cena to eliminate him. Kane comes out and orders the Wyatts away from the arena, then he checks on Cena, but Bryan drop kicks Kane out of the chamber. Orton whips Bryan into one of the pods and tries to take him up top, but Bryan gets free and repeatedly kicks him from the Tree of Woe position. Bryan hits a side superplex for 2, then he heads back up top, but Orton catches him with a cheap shot and a Hangman's DDT from the turnbuckles. Orton sets up a RKO, but Bryan counters with a running knee for 2, then he makes the cover, but Kane pulls the ref out of the ring. Bryan kicks him into the cage and Orton RKOs Bryan, but Bryan kicks out and Orton tries to quiet the crowd. Bryan tries to steal a roll-up before hitting a standing enziguri, then he pulls himself up with the ropes, but Kane clotheslines him and Orton RKOs him for the win, so still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Randy Orton. Leading into WrestleMania here, I just want to note real quick that the Reddit user Dolphins1925 predicted all of the matches correctly once again for the Elimination Chamber, which has been going on for quite a while now. So I just wanted to note of that. Yeah, I made sure to check after the show because I didn't want anything to be spoiled. The Elimination Chamber match was definitely the second best match of the night, second to the Shields versus the Wyatt family. I knew Orton was going to win, but in my mind, I was just hoping that Daniel Bryan was going to pull through somehow. But, you know, it's going to be most likely Orton versus Batista, possibly Daniel Bryan, as he was the second to last man in the Elimination Chamber, so that would be an awesome triple threat match, I would think, which would definitely bring in huge ratings to have Daniel Bryan in the main event, but you never know, right? So, my mouth is getting a little tired from these braces I got on a few weeks ago. I want to thank you guys all for watching for this Elimination Chamber 2014 review. I haven't done a review since Survivor Series, so I want to try to get back into doing these every pay-per-view. I definitely enjoyed talking about the pay-per-view, talking about the technicalities of the matches. Hit the like button down below for more reviews and previews of all the WWE shows, and we will see you guys later. Peace.